Hello and welcome back to my channel where we delve into interesting comics and explore their plots. In the last video, we started a comic named Villain to Kill featuring Cassian as its protagonist and saw how he transformed from a psyker to a villain, and today, we will continue the story. After the scene where Cassian transforms into a villain, we are taken to a hidden corner in the high school where a group of boys, who seem to have a dislike for the original owner of Cassian's body, sit, waiting for someone to come. After a few moments, a boy comes running to them and seems panicked. Confused to see him, one of the boys asks whether he went to the bathroom to check if the boy lying there was still present. In response, he reveals that he did go but saw no one, causing them to become shocked. He goes on to state that he did not even see police or an ambulance, causing them to become frustrated. Turning to one of their fellows, the rest of them begin to blame him for the false news, stating that he was the one who told them about the death of the boy. Silent in response, their fellow remembers that when he entered the bathroom he surely saw him dead. Meanwhile, one of their fellows gives a bag to the boy who brought the news as a reward and tells him to leave. Forbidding them from arguing with each other, he states that the news of the boy being alive is rather a relief for them, causing them to ask what he plans to do in that case. Giving a cruel smile in response, the boy states that they will keep on bullying him as they have been doing. Meanwhile, Cassian stands on the rooftop of the school hiding his villain-like appearance from everyone, causing Moros to remark it as a smart move. Expressing his frustration in response, Cassian demands to know why he became a villain. In response, Moros reveals that he was supposed to die, but his return to life has altered the course of his destiny and transformed him into a villain, something which was supposed to happen to the real owner of this body. Shocked to hear that, Cassian quickly gets up, asking whether attaining this body has caused the fate of that individual to pass down on him, and Moros agrees. Hearing that, Cassian becomes increasingly disappointed, considering his transformation from a top-class psyker to a villain capable of mass destruction. Clenching his monster-like hands, he then begins to vent his frustration by hitting the wall behind him, causing it to crack. Seeing how angry he is, Moros tells him to control his emotions, explaining that just like all villains who are driven by powerful desires, he also has a malicious intent deep in his mind. He states that despite it being under his control for that time, in case Cassian lets his anger grow, it would become tough for him to control that negativity inside him. Hearing all that, Cassian holds his head in disappointment, wondering what to do. Telling him not to be hopeless like that, Moros states that he should learn to live on, which is something Jeff would have told him. Moros reveals that Jeff deeply regretted dragging him in this matter, and despite knowing that his death was near, he did not make any effort to avoid it. Instead, he gave his necklace, the only hope of his survival, to Cassian, and he should not let such a big sacrifice go to waste just because of his temper, causing Cassian to become silent. After some time, Cassian stands on the grills busy talking to Moros when someone calls him out, causing him to turn around in confusion. Behind him, he finds the same group of boys who are in search of Cassian's body owner. Giving a smirk, the boy leading them remarks that it is great to see a loser like him alive. Meanwhile, inside the school building, Kim Woo-chan, a student as well as a psychic trainee, is walking in the corridor when his phone begins to ring. Finding it to be a call from his colleague, he picks it up and begins talking to him. While doing that, he suddenly notices Cassian and the three bullies standing on the rooftop and hangs up the call to find out what is going on between them. Meanwhile on the rooftop, Cassian stands facing the three boys, realizing that they are the same people who used to torture the original owner of his body as per his memories. While he is thinking that, one of the boys calls him out, stating that he scared them by pretending to be dead. Lighting a cigarette, the boy leading them states that it is his routine to come straight to them to get beaten up every day, asking what he was doing hiding all the way up there. In response, Cassian gives a rude reply stating that he is not in a good mood and will be venting all his frustration on them, something he does not usually do. Hearing that, Moros calls him out, warning him that even in their human form villains are much stronger than ordinary humans, telling him to control his power, and he agrees. Stepping towards him, one of the boys who seems angry at his remark asks why he is acting like a strong person all of a sudden. With that, he charges at him attempting to hit him, yet before he can do that he receives a powerful punch on his face, causing the rest of his fellows to become shocked. Enraged at his act, the second bully comes running at him, attempting to hit him with a baseball bat. Seeing that, Cassian also charges forward, blocks the attack, and launches a powerful punch at him, causing him to go flying backward and crash to the ground, leaving their leader shocked. While he is looking at his fellows lying motionless on the ground, Cassian steps towards him asking whether he does not feel guilty about bullying children like that. Hearing that, he begins to laugh, remarking that Cassian should not feel so confident just by defeating two of his fellows, who are much weaker than him. Realizing that this lesson was not enough for him, Cassian decides to give him a beating as well. Therefore, he goes running towards the boy who stands confidently thinking that Cassian is nothing in front of him. However, as soon as Cassian reaches near him, he attempts to launch an attack. Cassian successfully dodges it and launches a powerful punch, causing him to fall backward and then receive a few more punches. Even after getting badly beaten up, the boy is not ready to accept his defeat, causing Cassian to become enraged and grab him from his collars, stating that he should not hold back on his powers in that case. However, before he can do anything, someone calls him out from behind, remarking that this much beating is enough. Confused, he turns around to find Kim Woo-chan. Seeing him, the bully becomes shocked while Kim Woo-chan steps towards Cassian, remarking that there is no point in beating up someone who is no match for him. Hearing that, the bully becomes frustrated at being underestimated and charges at Cassian once again to prove his prowess. However, before he can launch an attack, Cassian quickly turns around and launches a powerful kick at him, causing him to go flying backwards and crash to the ground. Before he can do further damage, Kim Woo-chan quickly intervenes, grabbing Cassian from the shoulder and telling him to stop. Cassian, who is overcome by the malevolent instinct in his mind, turns around and attempts to hit him in response. However, his attempt fails when Kim Woo-chan blocks the attack with his arms and quickly moves backward, causing Cassian to become surprised by his speed. Calling out to him, Moros warns him that Kim Woo-chan is not an ordinary human, but a psyker who is dangerous for him to face head-on like that. However, before he can end the fight, Kim Woo-chan comes to him at a great speed and attempts to launch a punch that he manages to dodge, while getting a small cut on his face. However, right after doing that, Kim Woo-chan tells Cassian to stop, stating that nothing good is going to come out of it, and gives him a bandage for the cut on his face. After staring at him for a few moments, Cassian takes the bandage from his hand and walks away. Meanwhile, Kim Woo-chan looks at the three bullies, lying motionless on the ground, and expresses his surprise at Cassian's prowess to take them down alone, wondering who he exactly is. Looking at his arm that got badly hurt while blocking Cassian's attack, his shock is intensified. Meanwhile, Cassian leaves the school and goes to an internet cafe trying to access his Lampus id, but finds that it has been deleted and becomes disappointed. Leaving the internet cafe, he starts walking in the street, browsing through his phone while eating a hamburger. Turning to Moros, Cassian inquires how he knew Kim Woo-chan was a psyker. In response, Moros states that he could sense his power when Kim Woo-chan touched Cassian. Hearing that, Cassian becomes surprised at his ability to judge based on the power he feels, while Moros goes on to tell him more about his abilities. Meanwhile, Kim Woo-chan travels in a car with his colleague, while discussing about a villain named Blaster who recently entered their country. Considering that he is a dangerous villain, who has already caused the death of more than 100 people, Kim Woo-chan expresses his concern. Agreeing, Daewon Lee, his colleague, remarks that Blaster's speciality in making bombs is something which makes him truly dangerous. Expressing his hatred for villains, Kim Woo-chan states that all of them deserve to be killed because of the cruelty they have inside them. Meanwhile, Moros uses his powers to bring a window in front of Cassian, mentioning everything about his traits and attributes in detail. Going through the details, Cassian becomes surprised to read about his abilities of self-healing and shadow slicer, while Moros explains that it is because of his abilities that the cut on his face is healing quickly. Surprised to find it out, Cassian asks whether the skill is powerful enough to heal his arm or leg if he ever loses them, and Moros replies that it depends on the level of his power. Impressed by the abilities of Moros, Cassian asks whether he can use this ability to show him the powers of other people as well, and Moros agrees while revealing that he can do this power analysis only 3 times a day. In order to test his skills, Moros tells him to imagine a shadow slicer in his mind and try to activate it, and Cassian follows, causing a huge destruction in front of them that leaves them surprised. Considering that he has learned to use the skill that fast, Moros realizes the potential within Cassian that Jeff saw. After practicing his skills for some more time like that, Cassian begins to walk somewhere, stating that he is going home, causing Moros to become surprised, wondering if he really has a home in this foreign country. In response to his confusion, Cassian states that the original owner of his body has a home in the city where he lives with his sister. Reflecting upon his memories, he states that the original owner of his body used to care deeply about his sister, and being the one who possessed his body, he should also do the same. While he is talking about that, a powerful blast erupts from a nearby building, causing him to turn around in shock and finds people hurriedly running out of a mall at a distance which is consumed by flames. Now, what has happened inside that building and whether Cassian will play his part as a psyker or a villain in this matter is what we will be revealing in the next video. Till then, stay tuned and do subscribe to my channel if you haven't.